Welcome to the show where anything could happen. A real play experience where we pit the players against problems that have no simple answer, incomplete information, and always against the clock. I'm Oscar, I'm your host, and it's my job to set things up and behind the scenes to pass messages to keep players knocking things off track. In this episode, we find ourselves on WayStation 173, on the border with Jebarr space. Whilst the conflict with the Jebarr ended over 35 years ago, there remain numerous issues of displaced colonists, scavenger vessels, and conflicts over property rights. The committee that's joining us today is responsible for finding equitable solutions for the affected citizens on both sides. Today, the committee have to resolve a settlement dispute over Kepler 452b, about 1,810 light years from Earth in the Cygnus constellation. Although similar in temperature to the Sun, the star itself is 20% brighter and 3% more massive and 11% larger. Alongside that star, which is itself approximately 6 billion years old, is a planet known as Tyrant. Tyrant, which has been named by the UFR colonists, is significantly larger than Earth, has a gravity around 2.22 g, which makes it something where residents have to be highly adapted to that extreme gravity. This is usually done through a combination of cybernetic augments, advanced surgical grafts, but often very expensive artificial gravity generators. Now, the planet's ownership is in dispute, with the UFR mining colony targeting the exotic heavy metals on the planet's surface against a Jebarr clan who claim that this is their traditional training ground. It is the committee's job to resolve who has the most valid claim. First up, we have Chairwoman Suliman, the chair of the Reconciliation Committee, played by Mivi. Mivi, tell us all about the Chairwoman.
Good evening. I'm Chairwoman Sullivan, leading the Reconciliation Committee to ensure a fair and lasting resolution between the UFR and Jebarr. Our goal is to achieve a resolution that respects all parties involved, and I will not tolerate any actions that undermine the integrity of our negotiations today.
Thank you very much. And that is obviously a conversation that's happening with numerous people, the first of which is Tomos, the Colonist Union representative, played by Chris. Chris, tell us all about Tomos.
Well, Tomos represents the hard-working colonists who've settled on this planet, and I'm fighting for their interests.
Excellent. And sat opposite you is the Jebarr ambassador, Pluugrip, played by Jonas. Jonas, tell us all about Pluugrip.
Yeah, of course. Pluugrip is the ambassador representing the Jebarr today. He was too young to have ever really been part of the wars, which rests heavy in his heart, but he hopes to do right by his people today, and truly, through these discussions, mark a flag in a better future for the Jebarr people.
Finally, we have Lobster, the head of the Reconciliation Survey team, played by Shruti. Shruti, tell us all about Lobster.
I am Lobster. My team and I will be helping this committee confirm facts and support claims. Please do not lie. We will know.
And on that ominous note, we kick off the committee meeting session. What will the committee decide, and how will they prevent this dispute from causing wider problems in the region? We shall find out, and of course, anything could happen.
So,
the session
welcome everyone.
Commences.
Welcome to today's discussions. I'd like to have each party begin by clarifying their interests. Let's start with Ambassador Pluugrip.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I must say I have a huge amount of respect for your position here today and the efforts that you have taken on behalf of my people. Let it be known. I, Ambassador Pluugrip, represent the Jebarrian people. We are natives to this planet, and it is our right to restore it to some of its, shall we say, previous ways that are important to us, ways that have cultural significance to my people. In the location where there is currently a mine, thank you, survey representative, where there is currently a mine, we used to hold a sacred training grounds for our people. This is of a deep respect of our people. The way that we raise, the way that we grow, the way that we navigate life is through these training grounds. And given the damage done to the planet as a result of the war and the mining efforts, we would now like this ground to be recognized for what it once was, a training grounds, and we would like to cease all mining activity here.
Thank you for that. Representative Jan Thomas, please, may you say your piece.
Well, look, my people have came to Tyrant in good faith to set up an establishment there. There was no indigenous population at the time of colonisation. This world is on the very edge of Jebarr space. They set up this mining operation in good faith and were, not to go over old ground, but were sorely mistreated by the Jebarr response. Now, this mining operation represents not just like the sweat and tears of those colonists, but the literal blood of those who died trying to protect their settlement.
Thank you for that. Lobster, I'd love to hear from you and see if you can provide any insights from your surveys.
Of course. So from our surveys, we can say that the Jebarr civilization has only a few, maybe traces on this planet. On the other hand, the colonists have been assigned a mandate to exploit these mineral resources they use for over 40 years, I think. So, Ambassador, what do you have to say about that?
I believe that, as with all things in this world of ours, they can be changed. And all it takes is for a decision to be made. We simply ask that today someone look at our situation and make a decision that this mining does not continue. It damages our planet and it damages our culture. On those grounds alone, do we believe that this can come to an end today?
Thank you for all of your insights. Representative, I know that your mining has really improved the financial bearing of the planet. Please, could we know more about the contributions that has given to the people?
Well, this is a relatively recent colony, and without the mine is central to the economy. Without that mine, the people who've settled on Tyrant will really struggle to make a living. The entire colony was founded to take advantage of these minerals to be able to build and expand the colony and grow their settlement.
Chairwoman, Union Rep, I do not mean to disrespect either of you. I have received a communication that some of my people have taken it upon themselves to enter the mining land of Tyrant, attempting to fulfill their role in training.
No, that's bad. That's bad. I'm sorry. I'm just been told that some of my people have taken it upon themselves to go and squat in the mining base to prevent it from being decommissioned. This is So.
Is that all then, Union Rep? Is there not another shuttle?
I'm only aware of. I only know what I've been told. I would like to make it clear that this is not the colonist union's official position. This is an independent action, which I am gonna. Just bear with me a moment while I see if I can get my people to behave themselves.
Please do get in touch with your associates. We all remember the war, even though some of us were too young to live through it, and I'd really love to avoid any inklings of such uprisings in the future.
Similarly, Chairwoman, I will need to take a moment to speak with my peoples. The young, they are rash, and they do not appreciate that it is this room here where real change is made. I will ask them to consider their actions today. Perhaps a conclusion today means that they can find peace tomorrow.
On the subject of peace, Lobster, I would love to hear whether there are any possibilities of an even split between both parties. Okay, I'm seeing
I think
some hesitation.
that is a compromise they need to make.
Yes. Ambassador,
Sorry.
please.
Chairwoman, I have to ask, and I mean no disrespect. Head of survey team, could you just confirm the pronunciation of your name, and do you have any other titles that we might be permitted to use today? I'm sure you understand that there is a cultural sensitivity, which is why I ask.
Lobster,
While I
please pronounce your name.
understand that it is Lobster, it is a
Lob.
name lovingly given by my parents, and I would like to be referred as such. Is there an issue, Ambassador?
I would
Not
like
at all.
to interrupt for a second, please. I would love to know what on earth is going on down on the planet. We've had many reports of unauthorized landings. This is really not the sort of collaboration that I intended for today.
No, I am also aware that a number of rogue agents are trespassing on this UFR site, and can assure you that they are nothing to do with the Colonists Union.
Are they to do with you, Ambassador?
The only people that I am aware of are my fellow Jebarr people, who I understand that they're not obeying my orders. They see today as the day to complete their training upon the land of Tyrant, and they will heed no exceptions.
Lobster, could we get some more information on what on earth is going on in terms of the people landing?
I am communicating with my team. I will let you know as soon as they are sure.
Thank you. In the meantime, let's continue our conversation. I would love to attempt to reach a peaceful and equitable share of Tyrant for both parties to see if we can come to some sort of compromise, as this is what we you know, we'd love some peace. We'd love to avoid any sort of uprising, especially given what is going on the planet's surface.
Chairwoman, please, you must understand. Our people see this mining act as a blade being inserted into flesh, and that planet is our flesh. What you are suggesting simply slows the blade. The blade will still dig deep. It will still cut our flesh. Our planet will still bleed. We ask that the blade be removed entirely.
Chairwoman, we have received news that some of these colonists seem to be part of the Union.
That is going against what I said at the start. I said that I wouldn't uphold any sort of infiltration to our peaceful negotiation. Please explain yourself, Union Rep.
It appears that there are some of these illegal trespassers do appear to be the union representatives, but I can assure you that the colonists' union does not support this action.
I need you to sort this now, or we will need to send in the MSV Belfast. And you don't want to mess with them.
For your people, Thomas, this is work, this is business. They can leave, they can remove themselves, but for our people, this is culture, a way of life. I cannot. My people have become an unstoppable, an unstoppable object. But you are not immovable. Please find a way.
I'm doing my best.
It is very difficult to proceed with this unbiased when the Union is truly going against us behind our back.
The Union is not. These are just like an unrepresentative number of disgruntled colonists.
Your disgruntled colonists must be aware that they will soon be set upon a clan that are feverish. They consider today to be the holiest of all days. It is their lunar tide. I cannot stop them. They are Jebarrian, but they are not of my clan. They do not heed my words.
Okay, now let's try to proceed with grace and decorum. And if there are any other updates, please let us know henceforth.
I would also like to caution the chairwoman and the survey head that if any orbital ships are seen entering orbit during these negotiations, it will be seen as an aggressive act. I don't like to use...
That's a pain because these rogue colonists could well be persuaded by the visible presence of a peacekeeping HML Belfast.
This is deeply concerning.
Is a ship in the sky the only thing that can stop your people? Truly, why not words? Why not orders? Who do they follow if not their own greed?
I'm working on that. They are... these rogue elements seem to think that they are going to accomplish something here.
Well, as I said, we were to remain unbiased. However, things are really speeding up in the way that we have no control over, which as I said, is deeply wounding to me as I'm trying to run a ethical means of reaching an agreement. I am
Chairwoman,
considering... Yes?
I must say there are energy signatures of small arms fire, and both sides have taken separate sections of the base and are preparing defenses. I do not think these are neutral conversations anymore.
Colonists are claiming to be defending themselves.
Against
Ambassador,
what?
are your people attacking?
I have instructed them that they should not attempt to walk upon the land of Tyrant, and they have not listened to me. They tell me that they are there to complete their training, but I know not their true intentions. Again, they are not of my clan. They are of my race, but I hold no real sway over their actions. They are natives to this planet. They live here, and they are simply taking actions that they deem worthy of their faith.
This is truly getting out of hand and completely off topic. Please, can we do something to resolve this immediately? Or, as I said, we will send in the MSV Belfast, and that seems to be an option that none of us would like.
Chairwoman, please, it will be an extreme option, one that will lead to, if not warfare, then certainly political tensions by our people for decades to come. I would not allow that. Union Rep Thomas, can you tell your people can you tell them to retreat? Can you tell them it's a tactical decision?
I have made that recommendation.
Understand.
But I am a representative. I am not a commanding officer. This is a union.
Yours is a union with...
What communications are you receiving from your union?
They're claiming that claiming to be shot at, claiming that they're just firing back. All right, they're refusing to back down without a compromise being agreed. Let's focus on some sort of agreement. All right?
Yes, let's get back on track, please.
I would move fast.
We seem to have two sides here. We have historical and we have financial. As I said, I would love to come up with some sort of compromise. I know that, Ambassador, that is not the desired outcome for you, but it seems to be a desired outcome for all else, especially as we do want to uphold lives of everybody, not just your own clan, and nobody seems to be respecting any of that right now. Please, Lobster, if you could try to balance out the need for both historical and financial, that would be truly helpful in this discussion.
The primary suggestion I can give is that where we found traces of the Jebarr, those lands be assigned to them for this training that they mention, and the mining operations continue as they are.
Yes.
All right. Ambassador Pluugrip, I've got another proposal. Your people have apparently been visiting Tyrant for some time. Do you have any recommendations of a less sensitive site that the colonists could begin to relocate to, and rather than expanding the existing facility any further?
Please understand, the base in question is on a sacred space, yes. So there is a conversation to be had there. But we would also ask that a long-term proposal be made to scale down the mining efforts in all. The resources of this planet, they are in and of themselves precious. We believe that there is some other scientific resource that could be of value, whether it be our nature, our animals, our replenishable resources. But
all right, if that is acceptable, then we can look into a process shift for the colonists from mining to some form of agriculture. Would that be a reasonable compromise?
that is a conversation I'd be willing to expand upon, yes.
Right.
Fantastic.
And that would allow the colonists to remain in their homes near the site.
Please repeat that sentence. I was just receiving communications.
Sorry. Would that allow would that allow the colonists to sustain their homes close to the site?
We take very little issue with your living upon our lands.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Sorry, the my advisor is telling me that an agricultural colony is not going to be sustainable going forwards.
Well, I'm simply sorry, but that kind of assessment, when they're not here, when they're not understanding the sensitivity of this situation,
Well, you have to understand that the equipment that the colonists arrived with is everything that they needed to mine heavy metals. That is what all of their processes for 4 decades. That is what they have been working this site for. It's just not going to work if they switch to farming, unfortunately.
Might there be a conversation surrounding scaling back eventually on mining, but in the meantime replenishing the finite resources with some other material resource to help grow the colonies?
Chairwoman, if I may.
Sure.
The ambassador has mentioned that these ceremonies of theirs happen only during the lunar tide. Is that correct?
it's true for the clan in question, yes, but you have to understand this world is made up of many clans with their own interpretations of how this space is sacred. Consider it like having a temple on your world, but the temple is not to one faith, but to many faiths, to all faiths. If someone were to start mining, to start turning that temple into a resource factory, you would not offend one culture, you would offend all the cultures upon that planet. That is what this union does to us. They do not strike at a limb, they do not strike at an appendage, they strike at a heart, a foundational and religious heart of our people.
Our goal is to try and establish a sustainable coexistence at this point. I don't think that we'll be able to reach sole ownership, excuse the word there, of the planet. Therefore, I think we need to try and find some more common ground, if possible. As I said, if there's an exchange of resources in some sort of way to help bolster the clan, that might be the best foot forward for now.
I would like to explore what it is that the members of the Union actually seek on this planet. If it is employment, if it is money, if it is comfort, then surely there is a Jebarrian clan out there that can offer these things in exchange for something other than the damaging of our sacred temples.
Well, you see, the difficulty is because because of the extreme gravity of Tyrant, these heavy metals are essential to the colonists continuing to live in their homes. There must be some way
Union rep.
that.
I have word that your people are taunting my clan. Not only do they defend themselves with their weapons, but they use offensive language against my people. Now, I understand that you do not sanctify this, but please understand, you physically harm us, and now your people use words that cause anguish, that really cut into the ears and the mind. I do not see how my people can possibly sustain peace when those that you represent, they do not just act out of greed, but they now act out of a maliciousness. That is something that I do not think even you can take responsibility for here today.
I cannot take responsibility for any of these actions. I am here to negotiate in good faith. The colonists obviously feel very strongly about the homes that they have built on this remote outpost.
I've got word that the Belfast will be sent in 3 minutes, as we cannot tolerate this sort of action. Under Admiral's orders.
Please, Chairwoman, the moment the Belfast arrives in orbit, there will be war. Surely they can send perhaps a smaller ship, a drop ship, something disarmed of weaponry, capable only of communications. Perhaps the Jebarrians could be invited to try and cease this with a peacemaking sort of platoon. I don't know.
I will contact the Admiral at once. Like you, I would implore them to avoid such actions leading to conflict. However, I'm not sure how many more options we have at this point. This is deeply upsetting.
Tell me about it. I have asked these rogue factors to desist with their verbal assault, and let's see.
Prior to this,
I think if we could just agree some sort of compromise here.
Yes, please.
I believe the simple compromise is this. The Union needs to step away from the grounds right now. Right now, it is inciting a violence that I simply cannot stem. And then, with our two people separated, with a wall between us separating physical violence, then we can come back to this room and discuss. It will require more of my people.
I've been told that unfortunately the orders cannot be taken back. The Belfast will arrive in 1 minute. I would implore that you get your people out of there as soon as possible, Union Rep.
I have urged these rogue factors to retreat from the site, and let me see. I'm awaiting a response from them.
Prior to this meeting had been conveyed that it would be taking place, correct?
Ambassador Pluugrip, can you assure me that your people will not
30
attack the colonists if they retreat?
The system.
They will retreat if they have an assurance.
The attacks have been a show of strength always. If your people were to make a show of retreating, it would appease mine.
The first enters the system.
I urge you, if there's any chance for them to retreat, please, do it.
I have given them my assurance. I am
Chairwoman.
putting my reputation on the line here.
Chairwoman,
5,
please stop the Belfast
4,
if you can.
I deeply
3,
apologise. It's out of my hands.
2.
This was not the outcome any of us wanted.
A
from
shot
today.
rings out. Session ends. Well, what happened there?
What did happen there?
Diplomacy.
I suspect that an accidental shot happened. Again, we'll work this out. I need to work it out. And the Belfast is about to enter the scene, but I think that you had just about managed to get both sides to agree to withdraw, or at least you managed to get the Jebarr to find a way without violence, to quote. And then obviously Union Rep had managed to say to his team, if you back off you'll get an agreement. And so I suspect that the Belfast enters under a peacekeeping process by the slimmest of margins.
Oh, wow.
But
Wow. Okay, so what do we think?
with the Belfast entering on my territory, we see this as an act of war.
Yeah, interesting.
Will I be able to go back to my governments, the governments of the Jebarr, and convince them that this is in fact, that this was for the greater good?
Yeah. And who shot who? Oh, who shot out at who? No one is hurt, thankfully.
It truly seems
But
like
who
the Union
fired?
was just off on one. Just absolutely. I hope it was in the shared calendar that this meeting was going on today, because
Yeah, it wasn't. Did you not get the newsletter, guys?
no.
I will be, rest assured, I will be having words with my members.
I like my people were doing like a bit of violence, a bit of shooting, a bit of fighting, but like I don't represent them, so it's actually kind
You're
of
just
easy
some
for me to be
guy.
like,
Oh,
I feel like
dear.
we could have met a common ground somewhere, I think, had the mayhem not been going on in the background.
I started trying to offer like different like economical solutions to the problem. I was thinking like, let's set up a new trade going on, and you guys just want the heavy metal.
I mean, that was the point of the colony. There's no colony without the heavy metals.
It's so expensive to run that colony without the heavy metals. It's just unviable.
Oh, that was tense.
Good. I'm gonna get in case anyone missed it. What was the fun thing, Suruthi, about your name? Why did that matter? Just in case the audience didn't understand.
Ambassador, do you want to explain this?
Just because my people happen to have an exoskeleton, right, doesn't mean that we are crustacean. Doesn't mean that we have any relation to any sort of animal that the Terran people may have a name for, and we find it deeply offensive, Union Rep, when your people stomp upon our religious sacred land that they have dug into with their blades and with their mines and their lasers, and they call us lobsters.
Shame.
Just a complete coincidence that happens to be a perfectly good name. Perfectly good name.
Yeah, I saw what you were going there for there, Shruti, and I was like, okay, that's going to have to come up at some point, but, we
I was hoping for that. I mean, it might say a little bit because it's the union, or like the chairwoman and the people behind this, the diplomatic people behind this that chose me to represent. So maybe that way they were trying to say something. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I'm
being sabotaged from below and from above.
No one
By
wants
the way,
to succeed.
I love the way you had the whole thing. You had your glasses down your nose, and you were speaking in a very kind of slow, researcher way. I mean, people don't know how much stuff you've been pinging me in the background either.
Mine was quiet this
Love it.
time. It was great. I just had to give some bad news, and that was it.
Exactly. Well, that's the weird thing about the kind of the decision role, which is basically the chair's role. Normally, the decision role doesn't get a lot of the background information because you're having to absorb what everyone else is saying. But it kind of weirdly turned out differently because I was kind of expecting Chris and Jonas to go in different ways, like to denials of these processes. And having to get Suruti to reveal it to you, and them having to own up to it. But they, wow, you went for complete transparency, both of you. You could have easily.
I mean,
I just want
I
to
think
please-
that's more on the threat at the beginning where I was just like, I'm gonna know.
Yeah, that's fair. You did say you're going to know.
What was quite interesting though is I had a lot of information about things that had happened in the past, but because the union rep never really attempted, like no one was really disputing that the actions of 25 years ago had a place in today's discussions. So actually, it was never really appropriate to reference those actions of 25 years ago. They're part of my character; they are there. But in the end, actually, we were very. Oscar, I didn't think you were going to give us a lot of present activity to talk about, so I thought we were mostly
that was
gonna.
intentional.
Yeah.
I wanted to let you have it. I'm trying to give you a lot of false sense of security, and then basically screw with you.
Yeah.
We got
Kind of
screwed.
my job. Honestly, I mean, I hadn't expected the first one to go quite so dark. The first conversation we had, first session we were doing for those who don't know, we recorded a number of these back to back, and we just did one where we were dealing with xenomorphs and fusion generators that exploded, and that kind of didn't end up particularly positively. So I was thinking, we'll make this work, it was fine. And that went kind of dark too. But that's another subject. Maybe that says more about me writing scenarios than anything else. Cool. Anyone got any other comments, things that they would do differently? Any thoughts?
Did I've got a question which is like for you, Shruti. Did Laubster have their own? What was their win condition, or like what was the outcome that they wanted? Did you have anything that you were kind of actually really vying for or pushing for secretly?
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really matter which party won the situation for Lobster as long as there were like news about some of the species on the planet dying out. And either way, if this conversation helped in reviving those species or at least reducing the damage, she would probably go for that. But considering the conversation, she was focusing on reducing the immediate damage to things. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
I think I was leaning towards the clan because of the way that the union was acting, and so I feel like if we'd been able to shut some of the noise off a tiny bit, then I would have just been like, let's go that way.
Yeah, I mean, at the start, I was a bit against the Jebarr clan because they did lie a bit at the start, and I was just like, that's why in the middle, or while you were introducing yourself, I was like,
Well, it wasn't technically a lie, it was a difference of perspective. So Jonas actually said everything exactly as he was told. But obviously you don't have the same source material.
Yeah.
So you won't know why he has a different view of some of those things. And that's intentional. But the irony is, the actual Jebarr clan that were just as bad, and the actions that they've taken historically in a modern world perspective are essentially war crimes. And obviously that's kind of the history, and it's hard to move on
very
from the history.
restrained.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
so much you could have chucked in. Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been particularly beneficial to the conversation to drag up ancient war crimes.
Yeah,
I think there's
exactly.
also the fact that there was a balance in the situation where both sides were kind of at the same amount of evil, I would say, during the war. And then, I mean, if one brings out the dirty laundry, the other one will too. So, yeah,
Yeah,
Well, it's kind of way the dirty laundry's there.
yeah,
It's just on a pile somewhere in the background.
Yeah, just somewhere over there.
Yeah.
I quite liked that myself and Chris are actually, we were good peacekeepers. Like we were genuinely the best people for this conversation. Like
Yeah.
we were the most well-meaning people. We were actually quite, I think, respectful of each other in the room. Our characters were quite respectful of each other in the room. Like you, Thomas, I think had a lot of ammunition to just maybe come at me and piss me off if you wanted to.
I could have done,
And
but yeah, it wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have had much against you, but I would have had like a lot of like ability to justify my character's anger. And I was in communication the whole time, with my clan, the same way you were with the Union. I was telling them to stop fighting. I was telling them like peace is the way, violence is not the way. But if you had like jumped on me about like the lobster stuff, or if you had like said like, well, actually, my guys, they worked overtime last week, so piss off. If you'd done any of that, then I would have been like, kill them now. I was quite ready to flip on a dime, but I like that we came out as peacekeepers.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that they are in no way in control of these groups that are attacking each other. So all of us in this room are basically helpless to what is going on, other than the fact that we can be like, please don't do this.
Oh, but Mivi, you
But
didn't
isn't
have...
that kind of the facts most of the time anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Chairwoman, you could have stopped. You could have stopped the Belfast.
I could have stopped. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was going on in the. I was like, I didn't do anything. I could have just said "plus no" to Oscar in the background.
Yeah. Well, it might have. Who knows?
Might have been
as
enough.
I say, this game, is where anything could happen. So yeah, I'm always going to be led by what you guys want to do, because at the end of the day, isn't that what makes it more interesting? What I love about this is, like you were saying about having the best people in the role. I think we were starting to get through at the end. You were starting to have an impact, and I think the interesting balance is the threat of the incursion is probably the thing that made it possible for the others to start, or to no longer feel as confident in their aggression, if that makes sense. Cool.
No.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for that. I think it was great fun. Hopefully, you and the audience out there enjoyed that, and you may have thoughts as well, and you may have sort of ideas of how you would handle those situations. What would you have done in that circumstance? How would you have stopped these intransigent bodies trying to take over a colony, which is putting everybody's safety at risk? Not easy problems to solve in any way. So thank you very much for listening, and if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and do the things that you do, notifications and all that jazz. And also, check out the Patreon, check out the Discord, add your comment, let us know what you think. And on that note, remember that we'll be back again, and we'll be playing more scenarios like this where anything could happen.